Your coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Ooh, ooh, living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Oh no, yeah, oh no, all powerful, all power. Glory be to our God. Ooh, everlasting, redeemer, Savior, Savior. Glory be to our God. Your coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Ooh, ooh, living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Holy One, King of kings, on your throne. Lord of lords, Lord of lords. Glory be to our God. Ooh, Prince of Peace, beginning G and then our goal in life. The great I am, the great I. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, be to our God. Glory be to our goal. Living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Yeah. You're coming. It's proud.
Beings who have perfected themselves from billions of different galaxies, and they look different depending on where they are, the different colors of their lights, the different ways they vibrate. And when and if they're given leave by the Almighty to come down to earth, just like Jesus said in St. John, to come down to earth, he who came down can go back up.
Our God, coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Ooh, ooh, living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory to glory me. Holy One, King of kings, on your throne. Lord of lords, Lord of lords. Glory be to our God. Glory be to our God. Ooh, Prince of Peace, beginning engine in our thought of life. The great I am, the great I. Ooh, be to our God. Ooh, be to our God. Glory be to our God. Living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me.
But only he who came down can go back up. So there are people on earth whose name is not written in the book of life since the foundation of the world, because they are not spirits who came down, they were spirits who were created on earth. Because it said the Spirit of the Lord was upon the face of the water before man even got here. Yes. Do you understand? Yes.
Yeah. You're coming. It's crowd. Your coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Ooh, ooh, living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Oh no, yeah, oh no, all powerful, all power. Glory be to our God. Ooh, everlasting, redeemer, Savior, Savior. Glory be to our God. Your coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Ooh, ooh, living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Holy One, King of kings, on your throne. Lord of lords, Lord of lords. Glory be to our God. Ooh.
Greater light, I have returned. I did what I needed to do under the circumstances. But in the midst of my prepar- preparatory hours that I was trying to achieve, a message came through loud and clear. Uh, a message came through loud and clear, and it took everything for me to stay on there at least another hour before getting off and doing what it is that I am called to do. And that's this right here. And for all of the distractions that came in between to take me off of what it is that I was supposed to teach on, this because of fleshly attachments, because of the fleshly attachments. But see, because I am born again, and this is my hope for all, that when you realize who is in charge, God is in charge of everything, the good, the bad, the indifferent. It is nothing that I am not a superhero. Superheroes is for cartoons and Marvel heroes. God is the superhero. When you give it all to God, God will take care of it all. Huh? And for me, every day that I proclaim that God is going to keep his promise to me and live and walk according to what I should have been doing, what I came on here to do in the first place, God has been taking care of everything, whether somebody believes in me or not. Huh? Well, whether somebody thinks I'm crazy or not, no matter what any man, woman, child, friend, mother, daughter, sister, or anybody could say, huh? I only answer to God, and God has been giving me the perfect solution to every single one of my needs. And that would be even to whatever pains, what do they call it? Economic pain points that may try to interfere with me staying on the path and doing what it is that I was sent through my mother's womb, and all everything that I went through to make it to this very point right here in time. Right here in time. Because if I go to stand for anybody besides just standing for God, guess what? They gonna say, oh, go, she crazy. Oh, go, you see her records? No matter how many times I said I was innocent, huh? To this day, no matter what I say, you have some that they say, well, we just protecting what you protecting. Ain't nobody stood there with me but God when I stood at my son's grave after 9/11. I stood there alone. Huh? And for anything that could come out of my mouth, even this that I'm doing right here in the name of God, huh? Because he said so. Because those three light beings that brought me here didn't just bring me here for the hell of it. Huh? When I entered this flesh in 1976, this flesh had already existed. Everything on this plane existed before I got here. And when I entered this flesh in 1976, as my mother, I hovered past my mother, who was to be my mother, who so strategically wove and weaved this flesh together. It came through her. As I hovered past, as she was sitting at a sewing machine in a black dress with sunflowers on it. Uh, and before I entered into this body and looked around in the room, and my grandmother, who was to be my grandmother, was in a bed in the same room with who was to be my brother, born blind. He was at the end of one bed. My sister, who was supposed to be my sister, who was born that year, was in a bassinet, and I entered into this flesh. And when I opened my eyes and looked, there were the three beings, three emerald beings standing in the room. And all I could say was, I don't know what part of it didn't want them to leave me. And I wasn't afraid. But as the woman to be my grandmother opened her mouth and said, "Child, hush that fuss," two of the beings went to one end. One went on the head of where my grandmother was sleeping, and the other one went on at the foot. And the one who seemed to be the head or in charge, his golden eyes kind of squinted at me like I better not say another mumbling word. What my grandmother, supposed to be my grandmother, said out loud, he said it with his eyes. And whatever it is that they did at my grandmother's head of her bed and the foot of the bed, when I closed my eyes and opened my eyes back, they were gone. And I've been here ever since. Huh? And when I started telling that story in elementary, I believe is exactly when every part of the research and development began. So here, I'm here to say that out loud with no shame. Huh? With no shame. Now, what it is that I was supposed to read earlier, I'm going to go back and read it. Huh? I got off of here. I was supposed to do so. That means I might be on here for a minute. Let's see how long I can last. I got to do Ezekiel 19 through 21 because that has to do with the prophecy against Egypt. He wasn't going to leave us in Egypt. Well, y'all, all this was here before I got here, but he wasn't going to leave you in Tamari. He wasn't going to leave you. It was to the next phase. It was going to be to the next phase. But the prophecy against Egypt still stands. Everything that is written in our Akashic records on this land of the contracts between heaven and earth stands. God is going to keep his promises. And it's happening. You're seeing it right before your very eyes. It's in your face. Then I'm going to go to Revelations 18 because that also has to do with the prophecies. So prophecy against Egypt is going to be coming out of Isaiah. I read what I had to read for those that needed it in the last live that I cut short. And now I'm going to what I was supposed to do in the first place. So Isaiah 19, Isaiah 20, Isaiah 21. Every time I go to click this live, they trying too hard. I can see the circle. I can see the connections. I can see the dot. Remember the little connect the dot games we used to play as children? Some adults still play them. Remember the connect the dots? I used to love that. I used to love the connect the dots, especially when it was a lot of features on the page. So prophecy against Egypt, the barefooted prophet, and prophecy against Babylon. And just to show that the prophecy against Babylon ain't just an Old Testament Isaiah thing. I'm going to take you to Revelations 18. Babylon has fallen. Now I'm going to go back to the Federal Register document that I was talking about, and that chemical that's supposed to manipulate your DNA. Well, they can add DNA to the yeast, to the bread, and let it travel all up and through you, through the brewer's yeast. I have a witness. I have a witness when I was working in the kitchen at the church, when I was out there in the wilderness, when I was homeless. And they went and picked up some bread. And when I ate the bread, I said, this bread don't taste right. I love 9 grain bread, but it tastes like there was a taste of like what's that? Like not oregano. Yeah, maybe like oregano, but it's one of them Italian seasons that I don't like. It took me a long time before I started liking oregano and olives, well, eating it. But just something about some of the Italian flavorings. That's why when I was growing up, I didn't like pizza. They have pizza at school. People would be glad to get. Let's exchange. Oh, I'll get your tater tots for the pizza. I'm gonna exchange, but they could have my pizza. When they had pizza party, they love having pizza parties at Sunset Elementary. I would miss out on the pizza parties. I didn't like hot dogs, even though my mama them cooked it. They called me yum yum eat 'em up because I was gonna let myself be hungry. But while I was at home, because my mother had already made the rule and regulation, whatever gets in front of your face, you gonna eat it. And instead of me being traumatized like my sister, I had just learned to eat whatever was put in front of me. And I don't know what that made me be entitled, yum yum eat 'em up, but it was already enforced. Huh? You, whatever's in you, or you gonna go to bed hungry. Huh? Anyways, to the church. So I mentioned that, and then I started reading what they had to say about the bread on the bread thing, and this was Walmart brand bread. And I said, "Oh my goodness!" So I said, "Y'all might want to check this out. Look, look, look. Read this." I said, "We in a land where the bread is supposedly the best bread on the United States plane of force, where nature's own gets. That's where we at, right? But we got this bread here that's being traumatized with some type of DNA." So now, moving forward. So recently, I've been having a thing with the bread, and I've been wanting particular types of bread. Uh, so whole wheat bread and all that, but still being particular on where the bread coming from and stuff. And I've been just feeling really funny about governmental Walmart food now, especially those that it's easily opened and things like that. I just really been feeling weird about all of the food, really. But hey, I like to eat. So this, I'll skip around. If my daughter can't go pick it up for me, then it's like I'm not gonna do the order. But I be wanting, because I got this thing now where like my main meal has been these big onion sandwiches. Seriously, breakfast, a onion sandwich, lunch, 2 onion sandwich, onions with a little seasoning, some garlic, celery, uh, couple slices of avocado. That's been, and then dinner, the same thing, right? That's been my little thing. So I don't usually have witnesses to stuff, but things been happening where I have a witness, whether it's my granddaughter, my neighbors. It's just coming out where I have a testimony to the things that is happening around me. So my daughter picked up some bread for me anyway. I went ahead and ordered it from Walmart, and it was a brand that I had to pay an extra dollar or so for. But I said, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it." So when she brings the bread, oh goodness, it was a little bit in the middle. And I said, did somebody open it up? What's going on? So I open up the bread and go straight to the middle. I pull the whole first half of the loaf out to go to the middle, and the bread is literally damp. It's wet, and the feel of it. I don't want to say what the feel of the moistness is. Just that thought alone, it couldn't possibly be. But just in case, I'll just go and say it's this chemical that they're putting in the breads and the yeast that can transform and mutate your DNA, like they saying. They letting you know everything in the Federal Register, what they doing, what they attempted to do, what they planned on doing, how long they've been planning it. And now that it's in full effect for them to move forward, they have to tell you the truth. This is Federal Register is where you're going to find it. So this bread, I was like, oh my goodness. And my granddaughter was standing right there with me. She was like, ew, what's wrong with the bread? And I said, you see, it's not just grandma, right? She's like, And then she went to touch it. I didn't want her to touch it. And then she said, it's wet. Ew. Right? So I don't know. I've been buying flour and baking my own homemade bread, but then I like yeast. But now it just looked like I need to stay away from all yeast. This is unleavened bread time. This is unleavened bread time for the children of Israel, the tribe of Judah. 12, 12, 12 tribes now. 12 tribes of Israel and then the tribe of Judah. That's where the 13 come from. Okay, just so y'all know. 12 bloodlines, 12 different bloodlines, all different colors, races, and all. Israel, 12 gates to the city. And then the tribe of Judah. Okay, all right. Unleavened bread time. Unleavened bread time. I could eat fry bread. My grandma fry bread didn't have no yeast. Didn't have no yeast. But where I'm gonna get the flour from? Huh? I mean, what? Okay, it's got somebody said we got a wheat farm over here, but what soil is it in? Huh? Who provided the soil? Where the soil came from? Is that soil where old mounds were? That used to be an old landmine. Where's the soil coming from? Huh? So I'm gonna go into Matthew. If you want to get your Bibles and go and look, I'm gonna go into Matthew 13, where Jesus refers to and talks about yeast. I'm also going to go to 1 Corinthians in the reference to yeast. And I'm just going to kind of try to stay on track with what they got going on in the Federal Register. What they got going on in the Federal Register and what it could possibly mean for you. Because they're doing things to all the foods. However they can address or get to any particular being that has little seeds of hatred, or they mind a little off track. They are not born again. They totally denounce Jesus, the light, love, and all those things combined that can make the world a better place. They want to accept the mark of the beast. They down for the money. They down for what the devil has in store. They all right with the things that are abomination to God. For all of that right there, they doing things to the water, to the land, to the foods, and they're saying it in the Federal Register documents because they have to, because this is the first time in all of humanity and all of mankind and all the millions of years, so they say, that this world and earth has existed. Earth and world, two separate things. For all the years, this is the first time you have a choice. It's under the binding contracts between heaven and earth. They cannot trick you into accepting the mark of the beast. They can't trick you. They can't come back and say April Fools. Huh? So here, let me share this document right here, and let me start off like I love to start off. I did it earlier, but got thrown off. My mind is God's mind. I'm always reflecting divine wisdom and divine intelligence. Divine, not divine. Divine, because there's a vine. They say it's a pole. Some say it's Jack and the Beanstalk. Some say it's a stalk that goes to heaven. I say it's the vine. It's the vine, like the umbilical cord, straight to him. Divine wisdom and divine intelligence, because it could only come from him. My brain is not just a symbol of God's perfect being that he is. Only God could take and so strategically take our mind and weave it the way he did, and every parts of our body, all of this. My mind is his mind, and I'm always reflecting divine wisdom and divine intelligence. My brain is a symbol. All the symbols on the periodic table don't add up to who he is. And you can't put no type of label. We do minimize who God is with titles and names, but there's nothing to even closely in all of existence match to describe who he is. But he's given us something within us, a symbol to define it. My brain symbolizes, and it sounds off like a sounding symbol. My brain symbolizes the capacity to think wisely and spiritually. I have always had the capacity to do it, but it doesn't come into full effect and full power until you use all of God's authority. All of the power in Ephesians 6, all of the power of God is within you. It's in the sounding symbol of the mind. My brain symbolizes the capacity to think wisely and spiritually. God's ideas will unfold within my mind in perfect sequence. There's a scripture, Jesus said the same thing. Jesus said, it's not my ideas, these is God's ideas. Jesus said it. Jesus never came on here, came down and said, oh, yes, I'm God. He said, no, y'all, you say you God, you can be God. I remember I used to say that. Huh? I'm God, huh? Jesus, I'm Jesus. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you, God, for changing me. I said it to a whole class one day, truck driving class. Huh? God. God's ideas unfold within my mind in perfect sequence. I'm always poised. See, when you take on the image, Jesus left a blueprint. Huh? And he mentioned at his Last Supper about that blueprint. He said, the flesh, it's about your flesh and blood. There's a reason why you in the flesh that you in, but there's a code in the bloodline that will remind you of who you are if you forget it, and you'll be able to do it in remembrance of me. If you remember me, and whatever it is that you remember about me, you'll be able to do it in full capacity, because you'll be able to do greater than what I did. You think I walked on water, and watch what you do gonna be greater in the last days. How great you gonna do it? Y'all will be able to sin for our Father. God will keep his promise to you. Y'all be able to sin for you. What you'll do greater? What kind of greater? Greater than walking on water? Great, yeah, you can do greater than you can turn water into wine. That's what the brewers do, huh? They turn water into wine. All water, tap water, purified water. Spring water, they turn water into wine. What? Oh, just out of the air. You get the air. That air, the air is water. A little drip, drip, drip. Turn water into wine, huh? Or you turn the tears of a woman into a whining. Either way, God's ideas unfold within my mind in perfect sequence. I'm always poised, balanced. There's no the scale becomes balanced. Yeah, some people they sins way hold the scale way down, huh? It ain't balanced out. A secret can take that scale and make that scale so off balance. What that big man got on the scale, and they couldn't. The lady said we can't even read. It's not giving us a reading. It said stop. A secret and a lie can hold make the scale more imbalanced than some of the people think about the most grotesque sins. None of it will be able to enter. But when you be able to rightly divide the word of truth, and you are born again, and you are living and standing on the promises of God, that scale get balanced out properly. It don't matter what man say, because again, Ephesians 6, because you're doing under God's approval. The breastplate that you wear over your heart is over God's approval. God's approval, not man. That's when you living right now. You have something to be like, yes, I'm a sinner. I ate you up. And we going to the club, and we gonna get with some strippers, and we gonna kill, and we gonna murder, and nobody can judge me. Nobody but God. No. Yeah, God will judge you. Yep, nobody will judge you but God. But I don't know if you think that when people say that, and we ended up taking it on, especially when Tupac brought it out. It don't matter what I'm doing, who you was doing to talk to me any kind of, you can't judge me, only God can judge me. And then made that seem like that was some righteous saying that you can do whatever it is that you want to do, and God's gonna judge you, but not thinking, yeah, you gonna get judged, huh? But that don't mean it's gonna be pretty. And maybe it will be pretty and nice, huh? Huh? God will take care of it all. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Vengeance is mine. Huh? I understand it more and more when dear old Pastor Allie sat in front of me and said, it doesn't, when I laid it all out, I'm in tears. They cameras rolling and all. She said, well, Jesus didn't have to prove that he was innocent. Now I get it even more. I get it, huh? No matter what flags that I saw in the last days and everything that was revealed to me, that make more sense now than ever. It makes more sense now than ever. Well, what is it all about? Jesus didn't have to prove. Nope, he didn't, because he left a message. He said, I won't be able to prove my innocence, but you'll do greater. You'll do greater. I promise you, huh? He made promises. Now, let's look at this document right here. You see this document? Who's that here with me? Who's King Ellis? King Ellis. Look at this chromosomally modified saqqara. I'm going to say saqqara. I'm going to say Joseph's temple and mices. Of mice and men. Saccharomyces. But I'll say mices here because it looked like mices. Huh? It looked like, because don't mice, lab rats, they love bread and cheese, don't they? Chromosomally modified. This looked like a whole secret Navy jet flight chemical production J24002A. They got a whole list of each people that they want to focus on to study. Which communities did they send the brewers yeast to? You mean to tell me all the alcohol in every targeted hood? They say you can't find 211 when you get to the suburbs. Nope, you can't find, Old English. The brewers yeast. You will find the brewer's yeast in the chemical production of the chromosomally modified saqqara cerevisiae. That's like, it looked like que sera, whatever it be will be. If you eat this bread and do it in remembrance of me. Everything that Jesus left a blueprint, a code to, the codex, the devil did the same on the flip side. He said, but he doing it down to the last morsel, to the end. Because his whole goal, said out loud by the Biden-Harris administration, no, not just Biden, the Biden-Harris administration, because every time he said, we're going to buy American, she stood up in the background clapping her hands. Even when that other dude, I don't know who he is. He just like some mystery man on the other side. But every time he said, we're going to buy American, she stood up and clapped her hands loud. Every time he says that, he says, we're going to buy Americans. Then he starts switching it properly and saying, we're going to buy America. And he'll slip in, like, in his slur, in Americans. What type of American are you? It's best to have no title under what America has in store for you, because even IRS and Uncle Sam says, yes, we're creating a workforce that looks like America. What does America look like? Y'all remember when I used to build on that? What does America look like? Whatever it looks like, they could go and modify through their saqqara temples. They don't care if you a man. See, look, mice and men, the PM. Let me blow this up so you can see what I'm saying. Let me blow up this. See this right here? They don't care right here. Oh, gosh, they have more than one on the chromosomally modified. But right here, they don't care if you's a man. Take the P out. They don't care if you's a nun. Take the S off. And they don't care if you's a Canaanite. Take the M out. Or you could be a Mican. They don't care. You could be a Sunan. Or you could be a Pimnan. Pam in. Pan American, Pam and in. You could have an IP address. They don't care. They saying we could take saqqara, the saqqara mices, and modify your DNA. What are you talking about, Grandma? That's not what. Yes. Let's go here. Let's share this tab. The Saccharomyces cerevisiae, or yeast, can be modified in many ways, including chromosomal modifications, which can be used to create inheritable changes. Inherited changes. Heritable. Herod. I knew Herod was somewhere in the scheme. Herod of the past, he right here in the future messing with your bread, yeasted bread. DNA integration. DNA can be integrated into yeast genome. Whose DNA? DNA, say it again. DNA, let me say it one more time. DNA can be integrated into yeast genome through homologous recombination. They got to recombinate your DNA. No hesitations, recombinations. Subject, which is more efficient when DNA has similar sequence to the target site. We talking about bullseye. Linear double-stranded DNA integrates more efficiently than circular DNA. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Who double-stranded DNA integrates more efficiently? Are they talking about the woman? They talking about who has the double-stranded? Now, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a scientist. I'm not a hematologist. And I could go here and type in, look, people who already, this is the part I was saying earlier. I was saying it's no coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence and nothing is by chance that the gold mouth doctor over there talking about herpes and AIDS versus calling somebody herpes when they come through in the chat, like a throw off. He went more into detail. And when he went more into detail, look at here. The brewer's yeast, they found out through some of the bone marrow transplant induced through the vaginitis. I see when he starts saying, nope, it doesn't all mean sex. So he trying to be loose with it and try to bring it down to make it like everybody got herpes and all that. And I think he was just doing it just to throw off some of the comments that I was throwing in the chat and the questions that I was asking because of his buddies. He had to make sure his buddies felt safe and secure. Uh, but at the end of it all, everybody don't have these simplexes. Mm. And now these targets is not just geared, but this is where they found out how they can manipulate through the yeast is when they start doing the studies on AIDS and the years of study on cancer. The same way AIDS came around, it's the same way cancer did. Cancer didn't always exist. Cancer was unheard of. This isn't something that's been years and years and years. It's they replay and recreate these different viruses. They create these new simplexes and these new diseases, and they let you know right here in this Federal Register document that this is a new disease that they've created. Brand new. Yes, it is. They said it. I didn't say it. They said it. You don't believe me? Let's go look. Let's go look. Let's go check it out. That in the bread that you eat in the alcohol, even in the wine. Oh, and I used to love to drink me some sangria. For real. I used to get me a box of the sangria. First, I used to get the bottle all the time, and now I saw it was more reasonable to get the box of sangria. And make the excuse, well, wine is good for the heart. If I just take a little jigger. That's what my doctor said. A little jigger, but it got to be the Jewish wine. It has to be the Jewish wine. A little jigger, one jigger a day, huh? Here, look, look, look. Let's click on and read down a little bit. Significant new use notice or microbial commercial activity notice, including an amended notice to test information. Didn't I tell y'all? Under the CHIPS Act, you can't even come and fight this now that it's a rule. You can't even come and fight it. You know why? Because under the CHIPS Act law that nobody was paying attention to, when I said, hey, if we all stand, the biggest mouths out there, and I kept going all across the land and putting in their chats, hey, this CHIPS Act law is very important. It's going to turn us into patients of the United States. And when they get ready to do what they need to do, you can't even make them renege on it. Huh? Don't y'all think y'all need to say something about this CHIPS Act law? This CHIPS Act law takes you out of being straw man, a person, a people, a parent, huh? It turns you into a patient of the United States of America. So now they can throw out all this research and development and say, yeah, we're going to do it to the bread. Now we're going to put a notice out here. If y'all don't say nothing because y'all don't like to read, then hey, we could go ahead and go through it. And the only thing you could do is wait until we come out with the results of how many people died and how many people lived. Huh? And the ones that survived, offered a loaf of bread that we put a disease in for testing in targeted communities to manipulate the DNA and inheritable effects. It will be easier for us to mark you because of the strands of the disease that messed with your brain and the microbes that we sent through. It's all good just for you. Make it dumb you down. We don't have to get you on drugs. You want to be healthy, right? You don't do drugs. You don't drink. Well, we'll get you through the bread. Now, Jesus, there's a code within you. There's a code that can block all of these things, not in the physical sense of the matter, but in the spiritual sense of it all. Because they're dealing on all levels with these testing and this research and development for the better outcome of them to finalize their covenant that Biden stood on pulpits. He went all across the land, all in Ebenezer Rock, all up in Georgia, him and Warnock and them. Brotherhood Union, he had UK Prince come on over and they sat at a table of brotherhood together and said, yes, we're buying Americans and it's time. Let's finish the job. And he keeps saying, let's finish the job. And ain't nobody questioned yet. I ain't heard not one person. Now I'm hearing them now being a little bit more gearing at focusing on what the government is saying again, but they're not doing it to the point where people can actually go and look for themselves and say, look, see, this is their Bible. They wrote out a letter saying they're going to kill 500 children, just like Herod did. They're going to kill 10,000 people. And they wrote it right here in the Federal Register documents. And he said they buying Americans. And when they finish with their testing on the census, what choice you make is the choice you make. Because that's sure on that census, sure going to be asking you, is you born again? Are you born again? You born again? Oh, What's your you believe in Jesus? Okay, you believe in Jesus, or you say you's a Christian, or use this, and that. But are you born again? Huh? Let's go on down. Let's go on down. So, microbial commercial activity notice, including an amended notice or test information, an exemption application, biotech exemption. Here, periodic status. This was all the way when? January, February, March. You're out of here. Huh? Go, Uncle Willie. Huh? What action is taken? They changed up some information. It said the document provides a receipt of the status report for period. Oh, they did a quick experiment on the P-mens and the Sunins from February the 1st to February the 29th. Under the Toxic Substance Control Act. This new chemical is under the Toxic Substance Control Act. It's a new chemical. Look how they got it. They said a chemical substance may be either existing chemical substance or new. And I told y'all this one is a new one. This new one can manipulate DNA, and it says under the Sooners. They say, look, new chemical substance or chemical substance subject to significant new use rule. The sooner issued under TISCA section, test marketing. There's the marketing and the commerce. Coming to a community near you. Purposes upon a showing that the manufacture, processing, distribution, and commerce, use, and disposal of the chemical will not present an unreasonable risk of injury to health or the environment. This is referred to the test marketing exemption. Does this action apply to me? This action provides information that is directed to the public in general. It is generally talking to the public. Who's the pubs? The repubs? All of the pubs. They said we're a democracy. No, use a publican. I'll use public property. Does this action have any incremental economic impacts or paperwork burdens? No, you don't have to worry about the paperwork. We coming straight for your light code, huh? Be born again. Do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. Because each person is accountable for their own sins. In these last and final days. If you know better, you do better. And for all the things that they got going on against children, Jesus already let you know. Jesus said what Jesus said. Oh, you bother with the children. It would have been better that you wouldn't even born. It'd been better that they take a whole rope and a piece of concrete and throw you in the ocean. Huh? That's what Jesus said. That I didn't say it. And this book all this was written before I got here. Look how they talking about flying saucers. They could talk about a CD-ROM if they want to, mark outside of the disk. A status report on it. They've been working on this since 1995. Since the passage of Lautenberg amendments. They've been working on this since the passage of Lautenberg. I want to go and type in Lautenberg, but that'll go so... all this stuff I got written out here that I want to go ahead and follow through. Since the Lautenberg Amendment. See that right there? Ever since the passage of the Lautenberg. Who the Lautenbergs? And here's the screening and the notation and the submitters. They say down to the letter, followed by the letter A and a 1, 2, 3. A 1, 2, 3, A 1, 2, 3, A 1, 2, 3, tree. And here's the different chemical productions. Let me break it down. Let me bring it down so you can see the whole page. And the chromosome, hold up. See that? Where they was testing. Look at the different chemicals here. Some areas got a whole different type of chemical in the bread in their brewers testing that can manipulate your DNA. The alcohol itself can manipulate your DNA. Here's a company, the Evernote company, the Aqueduct company, the CBI, ACDOT. They say dots, we getting the dot. Who? The thoughts? The tots? The dots. We getting going down to the dot. Look how many chemicals when they get to the communities where the dots are. Huh? You wasn't supposed to stay in Egypt. They said we got a psychop tail. Sickle. They're just straight letting you know, yeah, we coming straight for the sickle cells. Nah, look at that. Look. Sickle. We gonna use acid and salt too. Now here, I was talking about the salt earlier, right? I mentioned the salt earlier because, and then I got interrupted. It wasn't a bad interruption, but I got interrupted and didn't finish with the story about the things that's in the water, and I used salt. So after I realized that the salt that I had wasn't effective for what I was seeing in the water, I went and I ordered some sea salt. Now, when I went to order the sea salt, what I noticed is Morton salt is not on the shelves except for the old sea salts that they could pull out that people weren't buying. So there's something going on with the salt and the iodine also. And the only salt that they're distributing right now is the salts coming out of the most infected areas up north where the chemical blasts and explosions and all that has been happening. And then based on this information here, where they're putting the new chemicals into the salts. So that's why the salt, like I said, I just noticed that the off-brand salt, which I've always like Morton, and then come to find out recently that the most successful Morton mine on this side of the plane was in Bahamas until after hurricane, one of the last hurricanes that was kind of devastating to the islands. So even down with the salt, my own personal experience is that the regular salt that I use to say, again, when I've been taking baths, soaking my feet, washing my face with it, it does not do the effect that true salt that isn't infected does. So when my granddaughter I was helping her with her homework, and the word iodine came up, and I was thinking, because she asked me, she was like, "Well, what is iodine?" And so I broke down what iodine is, and I said, "You can find iodine in salt. It's an antiseptic, but whatever it is that they're doing with the salts, you can see it right now. You don't have to believe me. You could go check it out. You could go and go online to your local store and try to order some salt. Now, if it's only privy to Walmart, then there it again, this governmental store, but I realized there was something going on just this week with the salts of the earth, because they didn't have no Morton salt, the regular Morton iodized salt on the shelves, only the off brand. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I did still got my sea salt. I got my sea salt. And about to get some more. And it was Morton's. So I'm just saying that the fact that they have these different salts here. And another thing about lithium, before the issues that happened to me in 92, the first thing that they gave me to experiment on me with was lithium. The first thing that they gave me when I was saying it was hard for me to sleep, I just needed sleep. Because when with my son, when he was on a heart monitor after we came home from the hospital, I just couldn't sleep. I was always afraid that that heart monitor would go off. So the first time that I went to the doctor, because I was we were in Miami Children's Hospital for 30 days, a month after he was born. Um, they induced a coma to stop the seizures that he was having. And then when we got came home, he came home with a feeding tube and on a heart monitor. And I went with all his appointments. We would go, just him and I had my mother, she was there, but she was always working. My stepfather, I don't know exactly what he was doing. And my sister was in school. She was in high school. And so I didn't get the help in the house, like maybe some rest. But I was all, so I told my father what I was going through. My stepfather had done moved out. Him and my mother had done got a divorce, and she had already remarried within that year. And he took me to a doctor and said, well, you can't get no sleep. Well, this is what we'll do for you. And the doctor ended up putting me on lithium. That was the first test. So the lithium didn't help me sleep. And I'm just basing telling you about my experiment, or how they experimented on me, and how they're using these same chemicals now to the extreme. And people now are under the burden of the United States as patients of the United States. And one of their main sources of control, not just through the computer system, but just through the atmosphere, is the use of lithium. The use of lithium. But to go back over 33 years and know that their development and advancement in this computer system, in this artificial world, began on with testing on figures and people like me over 33 years ago. You tell a doctor that you're having trouble sleeping, but you don't want to take sleeping pills to go so far into a sleep. You know how back then there also they had other types of sleeping pills. And he said, well, what we're going to do is test you with lithium to help you relax, to balance you out. And so you can have a natural way of going to sleep and not go into a deep sleep. And I didn't like the effects that the lithium was having on me. So I went back a couple of weeks later and then they gave me Prozac and a sleeping pill. And this is not with no um records of something mental. I didn't have any type of any of that going on. It was the fear of going to sleep and waking up the way I did when my son wasn't breathing that morning, and for 911 to resuscitate him and all that. So I'm going into that not to go so much into depth into my story or this history, but it's about these chemicals that they have experimented on people on for over 30 years and maybe longer. But now they're at a point where they have been so successful in the outcomes that they can place it on all of the public, that everybody now is an experiment. So back to it. Let me show some more of these chemicals. The salt bases, oil field production scale inhibitor. Look at these chemicals. Heteromonocylic functionalized fatty amides, sodium salt fatty acids, alkene polyamines, hydrochlorides, alkanoic. It looked like alkaline. Just, mining collector emulsifier. All of this looked like few coating ingredient. Mixed metal oxide battery components. Christen LLC. A wetting agent. Adhesive sealant. Do-it-yourself projects and applications. Adhesive raw material. Paving applications. They say we putting these chemicals in everywhere you can find it. You can find it in the concrete. It's going to enhance your DNA. Everywhere we put it. They letting you know all the chemicals that they using that will potentially affect your DNA as you walk around here left behind. They said no, they talking about coal companies. No, they not. Asphalt. Look at the asphalt. Look, generic chemical name. There go the octas. The Kraken came through. Octadecanoamide. Diketone. They say we got it for everybody. The dikes, the octas, the benzeno, and the nanas. None of yours. See, non-ammonites. Look, plastic waste. Okay, so let me get out of here. Say, what does that have to do with anything, Grandma? You just talking, running your mouth. It doesn't seem important to us. Why is it a big deal to you? Huh? It's not. It's not. I'm just excited that God is going to keep his promise. If you think that this right here, oh, you just wait. You just wait. Presidential declaration, major disaster for public assistance only for the state of New York. New York had a, oh, I forgot. I forgot that New York had a bad tornadoes and stuff. Did they? Did they? Presidential declaration of major disaster. Public assistance only for the state of New York. 9/5 2024. Did they? Uh, uh, really? I guess. Oh, let me get back to the title. So, see the chemicals right here in what I read. And chromosomally modified sac. That word right there, the saqqara, comes right here to one of the most documented scientists of history, is Jauser. It goes to his temple. And I told you the story, the original story of Jauser, and how he experimented on his mother, and one of the simplest women was found at the base of his temple. And the queens, them, they, when I tell y'all this story, I told this story years ago. Um, they, even though she was a simple woman and she was like the handmaiden, they were very jealous of her. And they were so jealous. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen of her, that when it was time to bury her, they buried her naked at the foot of the temple, outside of the temple. They didn't, the queens came, got together, like it was a whole community of women, and they was like, oh no, we gonna bury her at the outside of the mound, at the base, at the foot. She don't get no place on the inside where we gonna be buried. And they buried her naked and in a glass case within the wooden box, and put a glass diadem on her head. Mm. I told that story. I don't know if they can find that story here, but I told y'all that story. But the great experimenter, the name of the temple was Saqqara. So now this goes now into their using the term saqqara in the beginning of this sentence. Chromosomally modified Saqqara Romeses. See? It's not just in the phonetics. And they can do what they always do, take and make a C a Q and a QC and all that. But this right here, this word is directly connected, not to their museum site here, but the original steps, the 66 steps on the old earth over on this side. This right here is just a, what you call it, museum. This right here is a museum. This is New Earth Museum. But the story before they went and built their museum for their acts came over from the old Earth. And that's on this side. So if you want to see the connection without me going into more detail, because I have scripture I want to read, here is saqqara. And then here is the saqqara in the chromosomally modified Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Hetero, monocycle, polymer, and all the different chemicals that they're using. But this right here is what stands out. Microorganisms transform to express an enzyme. All this year. And the places that you can find most of the chemicals that they reference to is in the brewer's yeast. The yeast in the production of fermented distilled beverages, wine, beer, cider, rum, vodka, whiskey, brandy, sake. Chromosomal modifications are more stable than genetic engineering using plasmids, but they can be unintended consequences. But the Saccharomyces cerevisiae or yeast can be modified in many ways, including chromosomal modifications that can be used to create inheritable changes. Many of their studies are done at CRISPR, and we do know that there are many CRISPR hospitals. But that's enough on that. Let me go to when Jesus referred to yeast. Let's go to where Jesus referred to yeast. I'm going to Matthew 13:33. And then I'm going to go back to Zhauser's temple. Matthew 13:33. Let me just okay, I'll start at 18. Now, here's an explanation of the story I told you about the farmer planting grain. The hard path where some of all the seeds fell represents the heart of a person who hears the good news about the kingdom and doesn't understand it. Then Satan comes and snatches away the seed from his heart. The shallow, rocky soil represents the heart of a man who hears the message and receives it with real joy, but he doesn't have much depth in his life, and the seeds don't root very deeply. And after a while, when trouble comes or persecution begins because of his beliefs, his enthusiasm fades and he drops out. The ground covered in thistles represent a man who hears the message but cares for his life, and his longing for money chokes out God's word, and he does less and less for God. The good ground represents the heart of a man who listens and to the message and understands it and goes and bring 30, 60, or even 100 others into the kingdom. Here's another illustration Jesus used. The kingdom of heaven is like a farmer sowing good seed in his field, but one night he slept. His enemy came and sowed thistles among the wheat. When the crop began to grow, the thistles grew too. The farmer's men came and told him, "Sir, the field where you planted this choice seed is full of thistles. An enemy has done it," he exclaimed. "Shall we pull out the thistles?" he asked. "No," he replied. "You'll hurt the wheat if you do." Let them both grow together until harvest, and I will tell the reapers to sort out the thistles and burn them, and put the wheat in the barn. Here is another illustration. The kingdom of heaven is like a tiny mustard seed planted in the field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but becomes the largest of plants and grows into a tree where birds can come and find shelter. And he also used this example. The kingdom of heaven can be compared to a woman making bread. She takes a measure of flour and mixes in the yeast until it permeates over every part of the dough. Jesus constantly used the illustrations when speaking to the crowds. In fact, because the prophets said that he would use so many, he never spoke to them without at least one illustration. For it had been prophesied, I will talk in parables. I will explain mysteries hidden since the beginning of time. The next one is 1 Corinthians 5, 6 through 8. 1 Corinthians 5, 6 through 8. What a terrible thing it is that you are boasting about your purity, and you let this sort of thing go on. Don't you realize that if even one person is allowed to go on sinning, soon all will be affected? Remove this evil cancer, this wicked person from among you, so that you can stay pure. Christ, God's Lamb, has been slain for us. So let us feast upon him and grow strong in Christian life, leaving entirely behind us the cankerous old life and all of its hatreds and wickedness. Let us feast instead upon the pure bread of honor and sincerity and truth. Pure bread doesn't need yeast. And that's why at the Last Supper it was unleavened bread. When I wrote to you before, I said not to mix with evil people. But when I said that, I wasn't talking about unbelievers who live in sexual sin or greedy cheats and thieves and idol worshippers. For you can't live in this world without being with people like that. What I meant was that you are not to keep company with anyone who claims to be a brother Christian but indulges in sexual sins or is greedy or is a swindler or worships idols or is drunkard or is abusive. Don't even eat lunch with such a person. Or isn't our job to judge outsiders? But it certainly is our job to judge and deal strongly with those who are members of the church and who are sinning in these ways. God alone is the judge of those on the outside. But you yourselves must deal with this man and put him out of your church. Mm, 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 mm. I don't know why I had to touch on that. I don't even see yeast in there. I don't I don't see yeast in there. Okay, so the other scriptures, because this has been a long day for me. The other scriptures that have to do with saqqara, I may again come back with it tomorrow. I may not. I may come with something else. But I will read Ezekiel 19 through 21 right now. Ezekiel chapter 19 through chapter 21 and Revelations 18. There's a significant story that I was going to cover in regards to Jacob. I spoke about it before. Jazer and is Jakub or Yakub, according to their time simulated historical um half behind stories that they have thrown out there. Um Only a few have given the full story, like Dr. Malachi Z. York. Oh, here's a notice. I wanted to put this out in public. Somebody has been attempting to create a messenger. I don't have YouTube and I don't have a messenger, but somebody has been trying to set up a YouTube, what you call it, messenger or Facebook in my, I guess if they're using my phone number, they're trying to use my name too. I've been getting codes back to back to back with um from Messenger. So somebody literally right now in the past 24 hours have been trying to set up a Facebook or a messenger in my name or with my phone number. And I instructed in my spirit to say that out loud here on this platform. Uh, and I don't know who it is that don't have the sense enough to know that if the IP address and all don't match up, it don't even matter if you have the numbers, but if the IP address don't match up, it won't stand up in a court of law. And I will have what's her name confirmed. What's her name? Solar. I'm Solar's co-pilot. Uh it won't stand up. So whatever it is that you have up under your sleeve, whoever it is that just decided in the past 24 hours that they want to take my phone number, and I'm pretty sure I know how you got it. Take my phone number and create a Facebook page or a messenger when I don't have any. Uh, come again. Be careful. Be careful. Whoever it is, let's say, I'll know who it is in the next 5 days. Within the next 5 days, I'll know who it is trying to huh? Set up my phone number under Facebook Messenger or Facebook. Let's I'll put it out there like that. Now let me get back to Ezekiel 19. Ezekiel 19. Ezekiel 19. No, was it Ezekiel? Couldn't have been Ezekiel 19. Is it? I sure got this page folded. Babylon will attack Judah. Mm-mm. It must have been Isaiah. It's supposed to be Isaiah. As I'm looking through, why I got that folded? Isaiah. I say, you say. I say, you say. Nehemiah, Esther, Job. Hold up. Okay, go back to 19. Let's see. Yep, it was supposed to be Isaiah 19. Prophecy against Egypt. And just in case y'all come through, saqqara. This is the word I'm focusing on right now. the story of Jacob when he was fighting with the angel, and Jacob was no good. Jacob was no good. Jacob slept with relatives. Jacob was no good. Jacob ran off because of his sins. Jacob was no good. And according to the Old Testament, Jacob, the Yaqub, the experiment began with the bone marrow, the hip bone. The experiments began at the hip bone, and that same saqqara is a term related to joining at the hip. But he tussled and tossed in all of his experimental functions, Jacob, against the angel. Right? In that story, the way they told that story, the halfway fairy tale way they told that story. All right. This is God's message concerning Egypt. Look, the Lord is coming against Egypt, riding on a swift cloud. The idols of Egypt tremble. The hearts of the Egyptians melt with fear. I will set them to fighting against each other, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province. Her wise counselors are all at their wits' end to know what to do. They plead with their idols for wisdom and call upon mediums, wizards, and witches to show them what to do. I will hand over Egypt to a hard, cruel master, a vicious king, says the Lord Almighty. And the waters of the Nile will fail to rise and flood the fields. The waters of the Nile will fail to rise and flood the fields. The ditches will be parched and dry, their channels fouled with rotten reeds, and green things along the riverbank will wither and blow away. All crops will perish, everything will die. The fishermen will weep for lack of work. Those who fish with hooks and those who have nets will all be unemployed. The weavers will have no flax or cotton, for crops will fail. Great men and small, all will be crushed and broken. What fools the counselors of Zoan are! Their best counsel of the king of Egypt is utterly stupid and wrong. Will they boast of their wisdom? Will they dare tell Pharaoh about the long line of wise men they have come from? What has happened to your wise counselors, O Pharaoh? Where is their wisdom? Where has their wisdom gone? If they are wise, let them tell you what the Lord is going to do to Egypt. The wise men of Zoan are fools, and those from Memphis are utterly deluded. They are the best you can find, but they have ruined Egypt with their foolish counsel. The Lord has sent a spirit of foolishness on them, so that all their suggestions are wrong. They make Egypt stagger like a sick drunkard. Egypt cannot be saved by anything or anybody. No one could show her the way. In that day, the Egyptians will be as weak as women, cowering in fear beneath the unpraised fist of God. Just to speak the name of Israel will strike deep terror in their hearts, for the Lord Almighty has laid his plans against them. At the time of five At that time, 5 of the cities of Egypt will follow the Lord God Almighty and will begin to speak the Hebrew language. One of these will be Helopolis, the city of the sun. And there will be an altar to the Lord in the heart of Egypt in those days, and a monument of the Lord at its border. This will be for a sign of loyalty to the Lord Almighty. Then, when they cry to the Lord for help against those who oppress them, he will send them a Savior, and he shall deliver them. In that day, the Lord will make himself known to the Egyptians. Yes, they will know the Lord and give their sacrifices and offerings to him. They will make promises to God and keep them. See, some people say this ain't no prophecy. This happened this time, that time in the Bible. This happened that time. This prophecy right here says they will make promises to God and keep them. The Lord will smite Egypt and then restore her for the Egyptians will return to the Lord, and he will listen to their plea and heal them. Tamaray got smart. Huh? And now we are at this part right here. For the Egyptians will turn to the Lord, and he will listen to their plea and heal them. In that day, Egypt and Iraq will be connected by a highway, and the Egyptians and the Iraqi will move freely back and forth between their lands, and they shall worship the same God, and Israel will be their ally, and three will be together, and Israel will be a blessing to them. See, this is prophecy right here. And as we know, the ones that wear fit like Juju ain't going for this part right here. That's how you know they're not the children of you. They're not who they say they are, because this part right here is happening. It's supposed to be happening right now. The tribe, the children of Israel, not in the museum side, not where when the disciples took Jesus on a 3-hour tour and took him over there, and he said, look, I don't need no tour. All this right here ain't even gonna stand. By the time it's over with, this ain't gonna stand. Let's get back on the boat and go back across the pond. Let's cut through Africa and go on and go back to uh the original land, the old earth. I'm not all in awe with this new earth stuff over here. They ain't even gonna ain't gonna be a stone, all the stone, everything gonna be crumbled up over here. Uh, and Israel will be their ally. That's Israel, Judah, and Iraq. For the Lord will bless Egypt and Iraq because of their friendship with Israel. He will say, blessed be Egypt, my people. Blessed be Iraq, the land I have made. Blessed be Israel, my inheritance. If you believe that when it says in Isaiah that Isaiah 19 is a prophecy, it's a prophecy, and that part hasn't happened yet. And we know that them over there ain't trying to hear that. That's how you know. This right here is more proof, huh? That they not who they say they are in these last days where everything is being unfolded and revealed. Huh? There's those that wear fit like Juju. And then when Kanye West stood up and he said, we are Judah, huh? That's when anti-Semitism became raidful. They said, oh, no, you ain't finna do that and tell the truth. No, you not. Even he went behind closed doors and he talked to Trump. He said, Trump, look, the Christians, the real true children of Judah, when Trump stood outside them doors after finished talking to Kanye, after Kanye told him what it was, he said he's a good man. Huh? But everybody let that go right over their head. And when he came forth and he said, guess what? It's not even 3 weeks after he made that statement, initial statement, It's time to make the movement. Dr. Malachi Z. York is not out here to say it out loud. Huh? And they are doing everything they can to censor him. Huh? But I can say it for you. It's time for Judah to stand. As soon as he did that, they came hard, talking about, oh no, anti-Semitic. That's when the word popped up. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. Y'all know it. Don't act like you don't know. So now these proofs is in the pudding. And Isaiah 19 in these last days says that Israel and Iraq gonna be friends. Huh? The Hebrew Israelites in Egypt, and Judah is all gonna be holding hands together at the table of brotherhood. That means NOI, the Hebrew Israelites, and all of the tribe of Judah, everybody gonna be getting along, Egypt, yep. But we already know again. What's their names over there? The ones that wear fit like Juju. They ain't trying. They ain't hearing none of that. What's the Jewish superhero? The Jewish superhero. What's his name? Zelensky. Oh, he ain't hearing that. It ain't no getting along like that. They ain't getting along like that. Are they? It's written somewhere. They forgot about that part right there. They didn't think somebody gonna call out that scripture. Watch how quick they finna call sudden peace, y'all. Just because I said this right here, they gonna have to try to dispute grandma, right? But let them do it and watch sudden peace and sudden destruction. Everything that I posted last year is coming forth this year. Not because I posted it, because it's already written. And that I was letting you know last year that I was studying the scriptures of what's supposed to happen this year, right? Study itself, show thyself approved unto God, that you will not need to be ashamed when you rightly divide the word of truth. Now let me continue. So now to the barefoot prophet, barefoot prophet. In the year when Sargon, I done seen these names all up and through the Federal Register. Sargon, king of Assyria, sent the commander in chief of his army against the Philistine city of Ashdod and captured it. The Lord told Isaiah, the son of Amoz, to take off his clothing, including his shoes, and to walk around naked and barefoot. And Isaiah did as he was told. Then the Lord said, my servant Isaiah, who has been walking naked and barefoot for the last 3 years, is a symbol of the terrible troubles I will bring upon Egypt and Ethiopia. For the king of Assyria will take away the Egyptians and the Ethiopians as prisoners, making them walk naked and barefoot, both young and old, their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. Then how dismayed the Philistines will be, who counted on Ethiopia's power and their glorious ally Egypt. And they will say, if this can happen to Egypt, what chance have we? This about to happen. All this is prophetic. All this is prophetic. You know the first thing they do when they incarcerate you? They strip you naked, bare. And they don't discriminate. The juvenile detention centers get it just like the big prisons. But the difference in the prophecies is they're not going to just be arresting you now for criminal intent. They're going to be arresting people based on their imagination, based on the content of their character, based on when they read your light code. If you seem nervous when you coming through the crowd, and the light code reads through the carbon trade, reads your information ain't right. They say, oh, you come on over here, we need to talk to you. Because the stripping naked means they can see past your skin. See, we can take this literally, allegorically, and make it, but really in this present date and time with the technology, when you walk through the airport, you are completely naked. Your clothes, they don't see your clothes when you walk through unless there's some metal on you. They don't see your clothes. All they can see is your skeleton, your light code. And now your light code is going to look way more different. Your light code is going to show them, what your temperament is like. The light code is going to be able to detect whether you have a virus and you don't need to sit on an airplane. It says young and old, that they would be their buttocks uncovered to the shame, that everywhere you walk, they can see you in light code. You don't believe that. You don't think that's what it is. You don't think that's what the reference is with this being. This Isaiah story happened way after Moses and Atomos, and Akhenaten, way after. Hundreds and thousands of years after. So now Isaiah, what he was saying was predicted, is predictions in regards to these days. No, Grandma, it couldn't be. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If this can happen to Egypt, what chance we have? And then here's the prophecy against Babylon. And I'm going to show you that these three prophecies definitely, again, have to do with these days, because the Babylon has fallen is not just here. The Babylon has fallen is in Revelations, and that's Revelations 18. So it says, this is God's message concerning Babylon. Disaster is roaring down upon the terrible desert like a whirlwind sweeping from the Negeb. I see an awesome vision. Oh, the horror of it all. God is telling me what he is going to do. I see a plundered and destroyed Elamites, the L's, and the Mimes, the Me's, and the Me's and the D's, Uh, you got a me-we or you got a me-dee. Will take part in the siege. Babylon will fall, and all the groaning of all the nations she enslaved will end. My stomach constricts and burns with pain. Sharp pangs of the horror are upon me, like the pangs of a woman giving birth to a child. I faint when I hear what God is planning. I am terrified, blinded with dismay. My mind reels, my heart races. I am gripped by awful fear. All rest at night, so pleasant once, is gone. I lie awake trembling. Look, they are preparing a great banquet. The load of tables of food will they pull up their chairs to eat. Quick, quick, grab your shields and prepare for battle. You are being attacked. Meanwhile, in my vision, the Lord had told me, put a watchman on the city wall to shout out what he sees. When he sees the riders in pairs on donkeys and camels, tell him this is it. So I put the watchman on the wall, and at last he shouted, Sir, day after day and night after night, after night. I have been here. What is that? I have been here. There they go. Sir, day after day and night after night, I have been here at my post. Now at last, look, here come riders in pairs. Then I heard a voice shout, Babylon is fallen, and all the idols of Babylon lie broken on the ground. O my people, threshed and winnowed, I have told you all that the Lord God Almighty of Israel has said. I'm not going to read about Edom and Arabia or Jerusalem right now. That's not what I was told to read. Now let me go to Revelations 18. Let me go to Revelations 18 just to confirm that that Isaiah prophecy is still in reference to today. And when it says that the bodies of the Egyptians, they will be naked and walking walking naked, the young and the old, again, it's because they will be able to read your light code. The chemicals that they are putting in some of the foods that a lot of these countries have banned, and some of these dyes and stuff. I went over a couple of days ago. They can make your body, your organs transparent. Transparent, these studies that they're doing. Transparency. After all this, I saw an angel come down from heaven with a great authority, and earth grew bright with its splendor. He gave a mighty shout, Babylon the Great has fallen, is fallen. She has become a den of demons, a haunt of devils and every kind of evil spirit, for all the nations have drunk the fatal wine of her intense immorality. The rulers of earth have enjoyed themselves with her, and businessmen throughout the world have grown rich from all of her luxurious living. Then I heard another voice calling out from heaven, come away from her, my people. Do not take part of her sins, or you will be punished with her. As I'm going to close out, I just wanted to confirm the Babylon has fallen was not just in Isaiah, but is also in Revelations. That's a repeat, rewind. And one more time. Saqqara right here in this tablet of theirs, modifying the DNA. Jacob in the Old Testament, Jacob, when he wrestled with the angel, that the joint, the bone marrow, there's the connection with that. And Jauser's temple is all connected. The sack is all connected. And I said I may come back and do a little bit more breaking this down. Maybe, maybe not. It all depends. It all depends on what I'm assigned. It all depends. Greater light. And let me close out with that song I did yesterday. New song.
Clashing them to ashes, clashing them to dust, clashing the titans, clashing the bus, clashing them, clashing them, clashing them, cultural clash. Goulet from
from an Irish one step, 2 steps, 66 steps, clash, soul and Queen's passion. Time travel frequencies like a clash from the time gravel sequences to the past. Democracy, cash, and Republican stash. And dog, work, sash, work, dash, work, slash. Bring that shit. You see them crashing, clash. Politics, clash of the lust, clash of our eye, clash of verse crust, cultural clash. Yo, Billy Banjo to Beyonce's word clash. Swirling words, sequencing from a rag instead of riches to ash. Going on rations, angles of passions, lifetime savers, from revelations. Come, you see, mash it. Your prayers from the clash, 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 your prayers from the clash.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Clutching, I can make a crash. Time travel for face, like a clash from the track, from the time rebel supersedes to the back. From my broken station, got my own station, got my gun, one stash, one cash, one slash. You see them crashing. Do it on.
While Trump brags about
Like you keep my life as we were before the night. Now I wake me up from sleep. When you return my light, you keep first as I rest. Before I would give you so to stay from pain. We pray God is my soul to take and help them not to choose temptation. Deliver the left behind from evil. Choose your kingdom, choose your power, choose your glow. Breathe forever and forever. Now I wake me up from sleep. When you return my light, you keep first as I rest. Before I would give you so this day from day we break. God is my soul to take. Now I wake me up from sleep. The kingdom come, your will be done. You return my light, you keep from upon earth as I rest. If I transition before I wake you so this day from day we break. God is my soul to take. Now I wake and see the light, Lord, you have kept me through the night. Keep me good, oh Lord, I pray, keep me guided through this day. Oh Lord, my God, to thee I pray, while from my sleep I rise. Let all I do and all I say be pleasing in thine eyes. A new day, amen.
At what point do you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or El Elo, or Anu, or whatever name makes you feel comfortable? Do you meet him in the solid? Do you meet him in the liquid? Or do you meet him in the gas?
Now I wake me up from sleep.
You meet him in the gas.
When you return my light, you keep first as I rest. Before I would give you for this day from day we break. God is my soul to take me up from sleep. When you return my light, you keep first as I rest. Before I would give you for this day from day we break. God is my soul that way you see the light, Lord, you have kept me through the night. Keep me good, It's a new day, amen.
This is where people say you meet the Most High with the. Now you take those three planes and overlay them in the degrees of existence, which are Nesut, Malachut, and Laput. Then you get Nesut, the plane of men, mortal, solid. Then you get
now I wake me up from sleep. When you return my life, you keep as I praise to heaven, so I would give you for this day from day we break. God is my soul to take me up from sleep. When you return my life, you keep as I praise to heaven, so I would give you for this day from day we break. God is my soul to take. Now I wait and see the light, Lord, you have kept me through the night. Keep me good, oh Lord, I pray. Keep and guide me through this day. Oh Lord, my God, today I pray. While from my sleep I'll rise. Let all I do and all I say be pleasing in thine eyes. A new day, amen.
Now you were there, which is here, when the word was said exist. I don't know if you ever heard
now
that.
I wake me up from sleep.
But you may get a better understanding of it now. You were in that etheric state, which became this physical state. You were there, which is when the word was spoken, be. You follow? So then, again, from hydrogen down, from that point on, Allah exists. Allah exists. Allah exists. Allah exists. Allah exists.
Your coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory. Be living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. All know ye, all know it, all powerful, all power. Glory be to our God. Everlasting, redeemer, Savior, Savior, glory be to our God. Your coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Holy One, King of Kings, on your throne. Lord of Lords, Lord of Lords, glory be to our God. Prince of Peace, beginning G and then I go in life. The great I am, the great I. Be to our God, glory be to our God. The beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Yeah. You're coming. Let's go.
Beings who have perfected themselves from billions of different galaxies. And they look different depending on where they are, the different colors of their lights, the different ways they vibrate. And when and if they're given leave by the Almighty to come down to earth, just like Jesus said in St. John, to come down to earth, he who came down can go back up.
Our God, coming is beautiful in the horizon of heaven. Glory to glory to glory to glory be. Living you the beginning of life and the living. Glory to glory to glory, glory me. Holy One, King of Kings, on your throne. Lord of Lords, Lord of Lords, glory be to our God.